I absolutely hated reading books during high school, and then coming into uni, reading textbooks, I was like, nah man, this shit ain't for me. What I realized was I actually did like reading. It's just that the content I was reading was not my cup of tea. Now that I've realized what I like reading and how much value you can get from these things, it really does blow my mind why more people aren't doing it. It's so simple and easy to access. If you are interested in knowing what my favorite books when it comes to personal finance, wealth building, mindset, as well as lifestyle, then be sure to keep watching. Hey guys, my name is Ravi and welcome back to Personal Finance with Ravi Sharma. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button because I talk about real estate, cryptocurrency, and financial freedom. Occasionally, I'm going to nerd out and let you know what my favorite books are, and then you can go back and nerd yourself.
What's up?
Now there is a link in the description below if you want to join Patreon. I'm having conversations every day. It's just greater access for us to have more conversations, more meaningful conversations around the economy, mindset, as well as getting the right mindset to keep moving forward. Now we're going to jump straight into my 9 favorite books. I didn't go for 10 because I didn't have 10, I had 9.
So what?
Now in no particular order, number 1 is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Now for me, I always understood that yes, you had to go to school, you had to go to uni, then you go and get a job, but I realized that there was another way of living. There was another way to actually go about living life, and that was how do you join what you're passionate about to actually a side hustle that can end up being your main hustle. Obviously, we complain and we say that we don't have enough time. So what Tim does in this book is he breaks down how he's able to maintain a luxury lifestyle while working only a 4-hour work week. Now 4 hours seems like absolutely nothing, but what he shows is it's still possible to go work your 9 to 5 and have a side hustle. So I think the concepts he talks about in this book are so timeless. I think you really need to go and add this to your list. Now before I continue, obviously smash that like button, but down in the description below you're going to find a link to every single book I mentioned through Amazon, so you can purchase either the physical version, or if you're like me, just carry a Kindle around. I like to make notes, so I just highlight straight away on my Kindle. I'll leave a link in the description below for that too. Now number 2 is Start with Why: How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action by Simon Sinek. Now this book was actually recommended to me and I wanted to check it out, and it really makes you realize why some leaders are more influential than others. We've seen them across the world, right? We've seen the really successful people, some of those guys that can run a business really well operationally. For others, it's really difficult to move out of a business where they're in the business versus working on the business. So in this book, what he does is he breaks down some of the key traits that really align the great leaders in their business fields and how you can actually go and start triggering those things in your own mind if they are there. Now, the other thing that Start With Why does is it makes you really question why you are doing something. Now, if you're going out there starting a side hustle, you're starting your own business or whatever it is, you need to find purpose. And I think this book really starts making you think about that side hustle or that business that you're doing and how that can really help people out there. If someone was to actually sit there and see exactly what I do with the attention I have, do people go,
well, you could make a shitload more.
And it's true, and I know that. However, I know that my purpose with running Search Property, with running this YouTube channel, and as well as running my other business ventures, I really want to have a key purpose and run it ethically. I don't really have the intention to be the world's biggest buyer's agent. I don't have intentions to be on the next Lux listings on Amazon.
But if you did want to consider me, we can talk about regional Australia if you like.
Or for anyone that just wants more clarity around something they're about to start or starting, then definitely go and read this book. Number 3 is like mentioned in every single list, and it's Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, this book is quite old, but it is definitely worth reading. Now, I'm not just saying go and pick it up, read it, and then say, okay, great, I've read it, next. You need to make some notes around this, okay? Because there's some concepts that he talks about that really hit home. There are some concepts that I talk about on the YouTube channel, and still people come out and say,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yet for me, I'm just looking at what the smart money does, learn, and then adapt it to, say, Australia or to myself and see how that can really work for me. So some of the concepts he talks about is a house being a liability versus an asset. Most people growing up, going to school, go to uni, get a good job, get married, buy a house, and then die, right? There is another way out. And I think he really illustrates it well in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because he talks about these concepts of a rich dad and what he would do, and a poor dad and the advice that he gives. One of the key things that really hit home for me was that realization that people spend more time and money going and getting postgraduate degrees, getting a master's in something, something when in reality they don't actually need it. What they could be doing is going out there and getting financial literacy, which is so much more vital, so much more important for your life moving forward, that if you did that move, you could actually work smarter, and of course you can work harder, but if you can make greater returns and are more efficient, then that's what this book really starts getting you to think about. Number 4 is Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know I'm a Gary V fanboy because he talks about that's so practical. I love that. You know, I don't want the guy that's going to sugarcoat it for me. I know everyone's different in the way they get the information. Some people don't like my persona, they don't like my channel, but that's okay because everyone is different. Everyone learns differently. I'm the type of guy that needs someone to just tell me up front. The way that he talks about concepts like passion businesses, happiness, and doing something you love is what has allowed me to go and really pursue my career of being an entrepreneur. And for me, I've been following this guy for over 5 years. So seeing him develop as well, and the stuff that he said and executed on, I love it because he executes at a very high level. Now that he's into NFTs, now that he's in Web 3.0 as well, I love the fact that he's moving in that space because that's where the smart money is moving. So what he talks about in this book is a follow-on from the concepts he talks about in Crush It. And Crush It was basically like, hey, go out there and crush it for yourself by doing X, Y, and Z. And really it's about following your passion, following what makes you happy, and going out there using the internet, using social media to actually execute. Why Crushing It is my favorite is because he's gone and interviewed some of those people that read the first book and how they've executed with their case studies. I love reading about other people's stories and how they've gone out there. It's so inspiring. One of the main things that attracted me to this book, and I've read it 3 times now, is around how to deal with hate when it comes to social media. We all know that once you put yourself out publicly on social media, like I do as well on YouTube, is that you get a lot of these anonymous people coming in and just chirping away all the hate. And that is more a reflection of them and their lives rather than you. But we're human at the end of the day, so it does affect everyone, and it affects everyone differently. So he talks about some of these concepts and how to deal with it, as well as how to leverage the power of social media to actually go out there and achieve what you want to do. The next book I have is called Bitcoin Millionaires, A True Story of Genius, Betrayal, and Redemption by Ben Mezrich. Now, this is one of those books that got recommended to me as well. Once I got caught up in the FOMO of crypto and trying to get rich and whatnot, I sort of walked away from it. But when I came back to it, I read through why is Bitcoin what it is? Why is this currency taking off? And why are digital assets such a big deal now? And in this book, what they do is they go back in time with what's happened in some of these economies, and they show it with the story of the Winklevoss twins. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because it is. They were involved with Mark Zuckerberg when it came to creating Facebook, right? They were the twins from Harvard, and what they did was they really educated themselves around currencies, and they saw some of the stuff that was happening around Greece and in Europe, where there was the collapse of the dollar, the banks were freezing money, and that's where Bitcoin just made a lot more sense. So long term, if you are looking at cryptocurrency, NFTs, and that entire space of decentralization, this is a must-read book. Now, before I go on to the last couple of books on my list, if you have enjoyed this, definitely drop a like, but also drop a recommendation that you have. I'd love to know more books that I can actually go out there and read because I'm already through this list, so I'll be really keen to hear. The next book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, this is one of those remarkable books that I think really sticks with you long term. It makes you really think about how you do daily tasks, but then those habits that you've created for yourself, how they can be adjusted to then go and really achieve some exponential and amazing things. Usually when we're going through life, we're thinking, oh, it's so hard to change something about ourselves. These habits that I've fallen into, they're so difficult to change and mold. But what he does in this book is he goes through systematically some small movements that you can make, some small changes, and those small changes then compound and become really big changes. Obviously, I talk about compounding interest. This is compounding interest on your good behaviors and how you get rid of the bad ones. Now, by far, one of my favorite books, and I've read this twice already, is by a female author called Marie Forleo, and it's called Everything is Figureoutable. This is one of those books that really gets you to understand how accountability works. It's to actually take on the ownership and say, well, look, everything is figureoutable. There are so many things happening in life. There's stuff that happens to you. And I've said it on the channel. You either make shit happen or shit happens to you. And I really hope you take that home with you. Really understand accountability is actually empowering. It's not to put yourself down and victimize yourself. It's to go,
okay, this is my problem. I can fix it.
When you start thinking that everything else around you is working against you, well, then you're going to fail because you don't feel like you've got the power to change anything. So in this book, Marie goes through her story and how there was certain things that happened. The universe actually actually kicks in, helps you along the way, but you've got to put in the effort as well. So this is a definite read on my list. The next book I have on my list is What If It Does Work Out by Susie Moore. This is a book for, basically how you can change your mindset around side hustles. I'm sure, if you've thought about starting something and you've told your partner, you told your sibling, or you told your parents and you said,
hey, look, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you reckon?
And they've come back to you and said,
It's a shit idea, mate.
Now, one would think that most people around you, love you and they're looking out for you. But some people are just jealous and they're just projecting their own negativity on you. But when it comes to, starting something new, and it could be a new job, it could be a change in career, or it could be a side hustle, most of the time people ask you, what if it doesn't work out? This book makes you question, what if it does work out? And I love the fact that this author really explores that idea around what if it does work out, and what are the benefits of actually thinking this in a more positive light. Now, I've got 2 more books. The next book I have is The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Now, this is by Eric Jorgensen, and it's a very important book because there's not actually a book that Naval has actually written. He's wrote a lot on Twitter. He's got some stuff out there, but if you don't know who this guy is, this guy's a freaking genius, right? He's a billionaire. He's made a lot of money. But what I really like is that in this book, he's really changed my perception of how working out and keeping a healthy body can really change how you operate as a leader, as well as in your business or even in your job. Now, I'm someone who really does not enjoy getting up in the morning to go to the gym. I need to get it done the first thing in the morning, but I also don't like going. And that's not because I'm just lazy. It's because I want to just get started with my work. I want to be able to spend that time, go through YouTube videos, as well as learn things, plan for the rest of the day, and actually execute. But what he's made me realize through this book, among many other things around happiness and mindset, was around how you need to take care of your physical health. This body that we have, it's deteriorating, like with age. So you need to take care of that because your mind could be sharp, but if your body is not there, it means you're pretty much finished, right? So he talks about concepts like working out every single day, talking about meditation and keeping a clear mind. I love his approach in how he talks about these things, and they've obviously written it in a really good way. So I definitely recommend you go and spend some time and read this book. Now, the final book on my list, and it's probably my favorite book of all time, is Robert Kiyosaki making another appearance with Fake. Fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. How lies are making the poor and middle class poorer. This book has really just changed my entire life when it comes to thinking about the economy, thinking about big businesses, media giants, and how financial literacy and why it's not taught in school and the realities behind that. This is something that is really eye-opening and is something I urge you to take with an open mind. He's a very smart dude and he's achieved so much in his life. And so what I really connected with here was around that whole concept of you're listening to the wrong people when you're asking for advice or you're looking at doing something. It's the equivalent of saying going to your auntie that has no experience in, running a business around, cakes and selling pastries, and you go and ask her, what's the best way to actually market this? She's gonna be like,
Bro, I don't know.
We get taught about financial literacy from people that actually don't have anything sorted when it comes to financially being free. We also go to school and get taught by teachers to go and do X, Y, and Z, like learn your essays and know what a synonym and metaphor is, but in reality, never teach you how to do your taxes. This book does hit home when it comes to these concepts, and I love the fact that he's so raw about it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and as I'm always on the lookout for more books, I'm sure the community is as well. So definitely drop a comment down below of a book that really has changed your life, and let me know why. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it to someone else that you know needs to get started. Maybe that's buy a Kindle, get started reading, because you know what? It compounds, and that's what we've learned from Atomic Habits. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.